Between the SNAP funding freeze and the rising price of groceries, most people's food budgets are looking pretty rough. And so as a registered dietitian who used to do food security work and as somebody who used to rely on food stamps, I wanted to share a few tips on how to make your grocery budget stretch a little bit further without sacrificing nutrition. When I was a SNAP recipient and I was trying to figure out what to prioritize when making my grocery list, I first focused on purchasing the most affordable ways to get my calorie and protein needs met. And so when it comes to nourishing carb options, the lowest cost options are going to be things like oats, rice, potatoes, and pasta. Bonus points is that the oats and the pasta are also both very good protein sources as well. And when it comes to the most cost-effective protein options, plant-based sources tend to give you more bang for your buck. So things like beans, peas, chickpeas, lentils, peanut butter, and tofu. Now, I'm vegan, so for me personally, those were just the options that I went for. But if you enjoy having some animal products in your diet, including some of these plant-based protein sources can be a really, really great way to make that budget stretch farther. So for example, let's say that you were making something with ground beef. Well, you could also throw in a can of lentils to make that portion stretch farther with a lower cost per pound. And bonus points is that it boosts the fiber content too. So the bulk of my food budget went to these staples, and once I'd purchased enough to meet my calorie and protein needs, anything left over in my budget went to other things to add in for variety. So namely, I would focus on fruits, vegetables, and anything to add flavor to make the foods tasty and delicious. And here I would always opt for the lowest cost options that are going to be ideally less perishable so that I can minimize my food waste. When it comes to vegetables, that would be things like carrots, broccoli, cabbage, onions, and zucchini. Bags of frozen mixed vegetables can be really awesome because again, they're less perishable, and so the money you spend on that is more likely to go into your belly. When it comes to fruits, things like bananas or apples tend to be pretty cost effective year round. Otherwise, what's going to be the best deal is going to depend on the time of year. So for example, going into winter right now, oranges are going to start becoming a lot cheaper and more widely available. Frozen fruits can also sometimes be more cost effective. And so for me personally, thinking about meal planning in this way made it easier for me to nourish myself well and consistently and stick with my food budget. And if you're interested in some examples of meals that I would make with this kind of meal planning, I will be showing that in my next video, so follow along for that. Additionally, right now I'm running a fundraiser to support my local food bank who has been heavily impacted by the SNAP funding freeze and other program cuts. And so until November 9th, half of the proceeds from any purchases of my ADHD Food Freedom course will go to my local food bank, and you can also donate directly through the link in bio. Plus, any revenue that I make off of videos this week is also going to go to my food bank, so please interact with this video, share, like, comment to help get it out there so that I can help support my community.